YouTube, and I'm glad you are. This will be a good video for you. In this video, 4 of a series, Singer Model 404 full restoration, I'm going to be removing the throat plate position bracket. The bracket, by moving this lever, moves these throat plate clamps up and down so that you can freestyle sew, darn, or change, remove the needle plate or throat plate. And to get started, the first thing that you're going to want to do is move that to the left, the unlock, and take out the needle plate. It's got to be out because we're going to be pulling these throat plate clamps or positioning pins out of the machine. So once you get your needle plate off of there, you want to move this throat plate positioning lever all the way to the right, which is the down position, and then you're going to lay the machine on its back here so we can do the work in here. And this is actually, this big old long lever here, that's actually the throat plate position bracket. Goes all the way from underneath that positioning lever all the way to here. That's where it ends. So we want to get this out, and the way to do it here is there's a throat plate clamp adjusting screw, and this this screw adjusts the heights of those throat plate clamps and also holds the position bracket in place. So to do this, you'll need one of your bigger screwdrivers. We're going to take out this adjusting screw right here. And to do that, remember, the lever has to be to the right in the down position, and you're going to have to push that lever away from you as far as you can go, and then you will turn this lefty-loosey and take out the adjusting screw. And when it comes out, you'll see why you got to push the bracket away from the screw. There we go. I love these 400 series because this screw is metal. In the 500 series and beyond, they went to plastic. Anyway, you can see that's kind of a cross cut in the back of the screw, and that's so it locks in that lever, and the lever can slide. So when you move that positioning lever, this bracket slides back and forth. Now that you got the screw off here, you just swing this out. You can swing the bracket on a hinge here, and we'll get access to the throat plate clamps. Now there's a little positioning bracket, throat plate clamp pin positioning bracket that you pull out first. When you pull that, it's going to pull the pins and the springs and everything. So let's take this apart here and I'll show it to you. You can see I sprayed this down with WD-40 so I could be able to get it out of there easy. So that's the positioning bracket, And this is the throat plate clamp. You can see the cutout there that clamps onto the needle plate. Then the spring goes over this to put pressure on these so the pins and clamps stay down on the needle plate. And up inside there is a throat plate clamp pin. That little pin is actually what pushes on the bottom of the needle plate. That's what it rests on. So it's really good. You can get these all out and you can clean them up and polish them up. And then you can also clean the little tubes that they go into, because all of this gets dirty and gunky. So you see it again, the throat plate clamp pin positioning bracket that positions them in the right place. Then you've got two of these throat plate clamps, and each clamp has a throat plate clamp spring, and in each clamp is a throat plate clamp pin. The little pointy side goes in first. Okay, so we've got those parts all off of there and the screw. So now let's get the rest of the actual bracket off of there. On the 401 models that I've seen, there's this bracket screws onto the end of the lever, but on the 403A and the 404 and then the 500s it does not. So if you have a 401A, you're going to put this in the up position like that. What that does is line the bottom of that positioning lever with this access hole, and that was there for when there is a screw there. You can go in like that and loosen the screw. But again, these models have no screw, so we need to come up top here and loosen some of these things. This plate is called the throat plate position indicator plate. Indicates whether it's down or up or unlocked. Okay, so you still want it kind of in the up position so you can get access, because they have these little throat plate position indicator plate screws. So these screws are kind of soft, so you want to be sure you have a good fitting screwdriver, and then you're just going to loosen them, take them both out so that we can remove the indicator plate, because that's what helps hold in that lever. Let's get those out. And again, I pre-treated this with WD-40. These are some of the screws that I have damaged in the past trying to get them out. But now that I got this hollow ground screwdrivers, they just fit so good, I'm not worried about that anymore. So when we get these two screws out, about 3/4 of an inch long, then we can take off the indicator plate. To get that off, just lift that up, and you have to kind of turn it at an angle on the lever, and then it will lift right off. Now there's a couple more parts in here, and one of them is the throat plate position stop plate. and it just lifts right up. Now that you got the screws out, and it's called the stop plate because the lever will stop on each side when it's in the right place. And then there's one more little thing called the throat plate position lever spring, and this puts a little bit of tension on the lever, so when you move it to the position that you want, it stays there. So that's what that looks like. Okay, now you see that the lever is just loose in here now, so we can tilt this up and pull the bracket, and you gotta turn it about a 90 degree, and then you can slide the actual position bracket right out of there. So this now is just like a rivet stud, just pressed in there. There's no screw, only the 401 I think they did the screw. And you can see that this gets dirty, but these two little humps are what push up those clamps. If you've ever noticed, when you move the lever, you might see the clamps come up, but they don't come up together at the same time, and that's because one of these humps hits one pin and then the other one hits the second, then they're up. So now we've got that out, we can degrease it, clean it, and going to want to be sure. And these little tubes are what need to be cleaned. That's what these clamps come up in. So if you get in there and you find that this positioning bracket is damaged, it's usually because somebody put a screwdriver in the clamp up here and tried to pry it out because they were sticking real bad. Or they put something on top and tried to push them out, not realizing that this positioning bracket for the clamps and the big plate positioning bracket was holding everything in place. So don't be surprised if you see that. I've seen that before. So if you own one of these machines, there's going to come a point where you're going to want to at least take out the screw and the plate clamps and these brackets and everything, and clean them, and clean these tubes out real good, because you'll see that your needle plate clamps kind of get sticky and so forth. So that wasn't so bad, was it? Okay. Let me show you this where everything sits in here too. You see there's like a slanted indentation down there where all those stop plate and the lever spring and stuff sit. But the main thing is these screws are soft and they're very easy to damage. So you can put some WD-40 on them. You can even turn the machine upside down and get WD-40 on the bottom of the screws too, if you want. So just take your time. Once you break them free, like the other stuff, they're gonna come out easy. Let me wipe some of this stuff off here. When I do the reassembly, you'll see how to get all that stuff back in. I hope that was interesting to you, and I want to thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you again for part 5. I think part 5 I'm going to take off the hand wheel and And then we'll do the bobbin winder, and eventually we'll do this feed regulator, and then we've got the electrical. Thanks again. Take care.